Could the Tokyo Olympics be a haven for drug cheats? For authorities who face the uphill task of rooting out dopers, the run-up to this year's Games could barely have gone worse. It means opportunities to clean up the competition have already been lost. So what's gone wrong? Well, the simple way to look at how authorities police a competition such as the Olympics is that they have 3 opportunities to catch cheats: before the Games, during the Games and afterwards. This year, 2 of those areas have already been severely hampered. The first, which involves conducting tests in advance, is the most obvious, and it is also potentially the most troubling. COVID has wrought havoc on a global testing regime that relies on anti-doping agencies from individual countries to reach and test their athletes between international competitions. In the first months of the pandemic, for example, UK anti-doping carried out barely 5% of the tests that it managed during the same period the year before. Over the whole of 2020, the World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, conducted just half the tests it managed in 2019. Competitors have spoken of their concerns. Australian swimmer Mac Horton said he wasn't tested once during the first 9 months of lockdown. And that's in a country where infrastructure is strong and standards are high. Why is it such a problem? Well, athletes' best hopes of cheating are in training. Performance-enhancing drugs help them build up marginal gains in terms of speed, muscle or stamina. Then they stop to allow traces of drugs to leave their system before the Games come along. As one expert puts it, a lot of athletes get done with their doping before they're at high risk for testing. To make matters worse, COVID measures at the Tokyo Games mean that access to athletes is restricted. Competitors can arrive on site only 5 days before their event, giving authorities a narrow window in which to test them. The usual athletes' village will not be thronging with competitors who can be easily tracked down. A lot of hope has been placed on what WADA described as a game changer in tackling doping. It's to do with the way tests are carried out. Scientists have developed a test that uses small samples of dried blood collected from a finger prick. It is said to be far quicker, easier and cheaper than current methods, and allows for more athletes to be targeted and therefore more tests to be carried out. The problem is it isn't ready, so it's only being trialled in part in Tokyo and may be fully up and running only in time for the Beijing Winter Olympics in 2022. So is all lost for the authorities? Well, not quite. The third area of testing post-Games is where they are making the most gains. The World Anti-Doping Code now allows for athlete samples to be retested up to 10 years after they were taken. The reason is athletes and their teams have access to cutting-edge medical and scientific know-how, sometimes backed by state funding, and they can stay one step ahead by developing drugs that can go undetected at the time by anti-doping labs. By allowing authorities a 10-year window to catch up, the message is dopers can never rest comfortably. What that means in a practical sense is that competitors are now being disqualified retrospectively, their medals removed often long after they've been won. For the sheer numbers involved, the 2012 London Olympics has been labelled the dirtiest Games in history. No fewer than 139 athletes have so far been banned or disqualified for doping at those Games. 39 of them won medals, 13 won gold. Now, understandably, perhaps WADA views this as a vindication, but it does make for some pretty extraordinary revisions. Iranian weightlifter Syed Mohammedpour was elevated to gold medal position for the 94-kilogram division 6 years after he competed in the event. He'd come 5th, but each of the first 4 weightlifters were caught one by WADA's retrospective testing. So while retrospective testing is having success, it's hard to argue that the outcome feels entirely satisfactory. Contests watched live by millions around the world are long in the past. The excitement, the tears and the cheers have long since faded. And that's why so much stock is placed on stopping cheats in advance. And when you're watching Tokyo, you know, largely thanks to COVID, the playing field won't be as level as it should be.